Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Jam Session. Today we have Yungbc, fresh off his new project, Always Works Out Part 2. Welcome, man. How's it been going?
It's been great. A lot of promo, a lot of press. The
Yeah,
job is just never finished with this. I mean, it feels like just everything of this has been about a year.
yeah,
So to kind of just see the part two out, and then we're combining both the albums this Friday. So upcoming Friday, depending
yeah.
on when we post this. So very excited. Yeah, very excited.
So for this new project, what would be like the day range? How many days was spent on this? From like first pen to paper to
Ooh.
hitting upload.
So I would say really like it's probably been a year just because I've had to time everything out with the film. So like a lot of the music's already been done.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like feels like I got a label and it's like they're making me hold off on it. But I gotta make sure I time it out just because
Yeah.
I don't want to put out the full project and then like 6 months later we're putting out the film. So I've
Yeah.
had it for about a year.
Okay.
Over time, I was covering the Olympics in Paris. I wrote a lot of that music out there. I think I got a lot of great inspiration, to say the
That's
least.
sick.
You can't complain about Paris and
Yeah.
whatnot. So I think I got a lot of inspiration from there. And then a lot of it was just prior songs that I had from a couple years ago that I've just held on that maybe wouldn't have fit in my prior albums, but I think fits in this because I think, a lot of these songs are very different. And I think it goes to the point that it always works out.
Yeah.
So I think it's just having just such a different style for every track. I think it makes it amazing.
Hell yeah. With that theme of always working out, and as you were saying, with some of the songs that being the main focus of them and how you have to hold off on some, do you feel like that theme constrained the album or made you more free in creating music for this?
I think it made me more free. I feel like the title of the album itself it's for those that know me, like that's always been my thing to say
Yeah.
that it always works out. I've got to do a lot of cool stuff, and I think a lot of ways that people didn't think that I'd be able to do it. And I've always had that mentality where I'm not stressing out about a lot of things. I just
Yeah.
think it always works out. Things come in mysterious ways. So I think in general for this album, I just wanted to put out, okay, let me just put out a lot of older songs, but also I've been retooling these for like a couple years now. So
Yeah.
it's like they have to be good. If they're bad, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like if I've been having these songs for 2 years or a year, like I have to make them good. So I
Yeah.
think that's the one thing. So this was the most time I think I spent on a project, not because I needed to, but just so for the film's sake and just so I can time that out. And I think that was the best thing I could have done. I mean,
Yeah.
it was had to be super patient. Had to be super patient. I really wanted to leak the music at the end of the day, but I had to do what I had to do, and I don't regret any of my decisions whatsoever.
Well, that's awesome. With this second project, you were saying you took a break. What kind of break did you take from the? Because this is a part two, correct?
Yeah, so the whole reason why we did it is that I put out part one of the album back in April, right before I graduated college. I wanted to have one thing out before I left, and then the film idea kind of came out like 4 months later, and I was like, oh, that was my plan in August, was to release part two.
Gotcha.
But then when you work with Matt, we always have these incredible
Producer
ideas
Matt.
and whatnot. Producer Matt. He came up with this idea of doing the film, and then I was like, okay, well now I got to push part two, but for
Yeah.
how long? And then this is my first time ever being in a film or doing anything in that, which was a completely different world and a world that I love and want to continue to be a part of.
Yeah.
But I had to time that out at the end of the day, and I don't regret that, like I said. And now the positive thing is now that part two is out, I'm able to combine the albums into a complete edition, and then now that all of the music in which is in the film is on there.
Yeah.
And then people can kind of hear it a little bit and then combine it, and then it makes it all happen.
Hell yeah. When you were making the film for this, were you formulating the scenes for the songs, or were you having did you record scenes with an idea and then go, okay, this song will probably fit this scene better, or
I think the songs was very like towards the end. I think we wanted to see what it would be like, because the whole point of doing the film was to promote the album.
yeah.
I wanted a new way, just especially in the social media age. I'm so huge on attention spans and whatnot, and I think it's hard right now to be putting out an album. I think it's
Yes.
super, super challenging.
Because everyone's so used to short form.
Yes, and I
Short form
think
and
why
clips.
not make a short film with all of my music in there?
Yeah.
And then so when you're watching the short film and then you're hearing that song in the background, like you feel for it. So
Yeah.
I wanted to do something very different other than just put out an album and then post my Instagram being like, hey, like,
Yeah.
please listen to my album, please pay my rent. Like, it's like that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited. I think it was one of the coolest things I got to do. And I think when I was pitching this to people beforehand, they really liked it,
Mhm.
and I feel like the response from the film has been great, and it's only continuing to grow. Like we
Yeah.
still got a lot more to do, and we're just waiting back on a lot of people, and I'm just incredibly excited.
Yeah.
So the film's out right now on YouTube. Always works out.
Great short film.
Make sure you tune in.
Hell yeah. With this film and these albums, do you are you putting these out so that you can put projects out there, or are you putting these out it as like a gauge to like self critique yourself as an artist?
I'm putting it out for the public. I think
Mhm.
I'm open and honest about my music, and I'm not afraid to share it.
Yeah.
I just think music's been in such a weird spot
Mhm.
recently, so I thought by doing this short film would be a new way to promote this music. And
Yeah.
I just think that I'm not that big of a TikTok guy.
Mhm.
Obviously, get it from a business and a promotional side, and I've always looked at social media not so much as like posting about my life. I look at it more as a business. I look at it
Yeah.
more as trying to promote, and I think the power of shorts and technology is just growing like absolutely crazy with it.
Mhm.
So I just think for music in general, I wanted to be able to promote it a little more, promote it
Mhm.
a little better, and do all that.
Yeah. With promoting, do you, because when you're making the film, you have you invite like friends and
Yeah.
people that you know to like be a part of it or
Yeah.
work on it. How does it feel to have that like that love brought to you, people that care for you and be like, okay, yeah, dude, I would love to star in this. I would love to
Yeah.
record this for you.
It's crazy just because I moved out here from college in 2020,
Okay.
from Southern California, born and raised there,
Oh, yeah.
and it was during COVID, and there was really not a lot to do. And I
Mhm.
think to think what I've been able to do in the last 4 or 5 years has been kind of crazy. I've been reflecting a whole lot recently. I think
Mhm.
especially with this film coming out, I think that's helped a lot. But it's a great feeling. I think it's great to know that I've had an amazing support system
Yeah.
here. A lot of great friends, a lot of people that I never thought, a lot of ideas that I never thought would happen. And I can truly say everything that I've done, I've been able to accomplish. Really,
Mhm.
like anything I put my mind to. I think this film was an idea that I had for a little bit, but I think when you get a guy like producer Matt to be able to execute it, and
Yeah.
that's why I love working with him. He's the best person I work with. He's
Hell yeah.
probably the only person I will work with, seriously, because he
Mhm.
just is able to really execute my ideas, and then I get a little bit of him at the end of the day, and it's a little bit of his flavor,
His
so it's kind of
sprinkle.
nice. Yeah, a little sprinkle per se. Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Hell yeah. So with this project, once you hit, I assume you hit like upload and it's like, hey, it's out.
Yeah.
Um, what was that feeling to for this culmination of a year? You have all these people that have helped you
Yeah.
and put their efforts towards it with features and production. What was that like self feeling in those days after, where it's like finally this project's
Yeah,
out?
thank
I
God
don't
we
have to
have
worry
this
about
frickin'
it.
thing out. It's been 6 months of filming. I'm
Yeah.
very excited, but I'm glad that it was the way that it was. But honestly, it was a great feeling. It's been great that it's out. The reception has been incredible. I
Mhm.
think it's cooler to say that I've been involved in not just music and content, but also acted. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy to think about right there. And I
Mhm.
think it's just how do we every year set the bar? How do we continue to grow? And I
Mhm.
think there's just it takes time. It really, really does. Like I couldn't imagine doing this film when I just first moved to Arizona. It
Mhm.
would not be the same thing in any way, shape, or form. So to see it kind of now, especially with all of the crazy career changes, all the things happening right now, I think it made it the great ending chapter. That's for damn sure. So
Hell yeah. When you were so who script wrote it?
So
Who
that was
screwed?
all producer Matt right there.
Okay.
I'll kind of break it down. So I was in Paris from July to August, covering the entire
Of
Olympics.
last year?
Yeah, in
Gotcha.
Paris, fully ingrained in there. And actually, I'm even gonna go back a little more. We
Yeah,
were
yeah.
actually in Joshua Tree, spring break last March. Working, I was actually working on the album,
Mhm.
and Matt came and he was like, "Hey, like, so have you ever acted before? Like, have you ever done this?" And I was like, "No, like, I've never done that before. Like,
Mhm.
what? Don't ask me that question. Like, what do you mean?" And then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get back to you on that. I'm gonna get back to you and
Okay.
see what happens." And then in August, September, I think we just kind of came together, and I had this crazy idea, and then he also had this crazy idea, and it just worked out because this is what I got to be ingrained in his world.
Okay.
And I thought that was super, super cool because I feel like with music, he's always ingrained in mine, but he's
Mhm.
also super talented in music in general. So I
Yeah.
think that makes it even better. So yeah, it was all him really. It really I give all the credit to Matt on that one because he made my idea come to life, and we tweaked a couple things, made some things happen, and I just think the execution of it. I was more nervous about the script aspect, about
Yeah.
memorizing that, but to be honest, it was easier than I thought.
Mhm.
So if Matt wants to get me like a 50-page script next time, we can do that. So we can make that all happen. Yeah.
Hell yeah. When you're acting, how was it being on camera?
Yeah.
Because when you're a music artist, you're behind a mic, you're in a
Yeah.
booth, and the only time your face is out there is for promotion or on socials.
Yeah.
And you were saying how you're not really a TikTok guy, and the only way to promote an album when you're an artist like that is just to like post it on your story.
Yeah.
So being in front of the camera, not necessarily for once, but like being in front of the camera, what was
It
what
felt
were
a
the
lot like
nerves? What
it
were
felt like
the
a very extended music video.
Okay.
I think that's kind of the positive thing of that is like I think the music videos I've done a lot of them, so I think that really helps. And a lot of them I've been able to really work on and kind of come up with my ideas on
Gotcha.
that, which makes it really nice. But I thought it was gonna be way harder at first.
Well, that's good. You have this confident and very positive mindset towards these things
Thank
that
you. Yeah.
I feel like coming to acting, you'll have like those first shot jitters or like the awkwardness, but then once you get past that, you're like, I got this. I can do
Yeah.
this in myself.
It was one of the longest I've ever spent on a project, like actually just album plus film, but it made it so worth it, and I have absolutely zero complaints. And every person that was involved in it, literally from acting to the crew, everyone, it was so cool for them and for myself included, just to see them in their element, because this is such a new thing for me to be involved in film and all that, and
Yeah.
I thought that was it was worth every up and down. That's for damn sure.
Hell yeah. With the album, how did you culminate your producers and your engineers and your mixers and your
Well, I think a lot of the music was done before the film even came out, so that was the other thing. I think the only newer songs was actually the outro track called "Always Works Out,"
Great
which
song.
funny story about that actually. I never recorded that with any music in the background.
Really? Okay.
So shout out Hayden Freeman, New Capital, one of the most talented people I know in music. So that whole thing actually started from a show I did at Varsity Tavern, and I wanted to play this little outro to introduce the band.
Yeah.
And it was just they played these chords, and it's actually what the Always Works Out outro is. That was never
Okay.
the plan for it. It was just this little like outro thing they were playing, and I was just on stage introducing them. And I was like, this thing is so addicting. We got to make this a song. He's like, all right, cool. Like, come to the studio. So I went to the studio. I had to base it off of the BPM and the timing and the metronome. So there was no music in my headphones when I was singing the lyrics. Like, I had
Really?
to time it. Oh, I had to time it out like
Uh-huh.
crazy. So, and the thing, my reference was a 4-second YouTube clip that I have of me actually introducing the band of the actual chord. So I had to hear that in my mind without it actually playing. And then I'm actually like, and then he literally just laid down some guitar tracks, played the chords over it, and just totally improvised it. So that
That's
whole
awesome.
track was one of my favorites because it wasn't something that, like I said, it wasn't anything I heard before. I just literally like dead silence, wrapped into a microphone, and just prayed that the timing was right, and the timing was right. So
Hell
it
yeah.
was great. So yeah.
As an artist, would you say, do you have a favorite track of yours off that project? Like, would you say the outro?
From the
Is
complete
your favorite?
version, okay. From the complete version, but if we're saying from part two,
Yeah, from part two.
From part two, okay. Ooh, that's you know what? I'm gonna say "Live Your Life."
Okay.
Would probably be my favorite, and only because I've had that song for like 4 years.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be honest, there were people that I was working with that said that that song wasn't good, that song wasn't anything. And I think for me, I didn't. I think I'm grateful that it's out now. But there were people that were like, "Hey, like maybe this doesn't sound like you." And then maybe like 2 weeks before the project comes out, I hear that song again, and I was like, this is probably one of my better songs that I've put out, and I learned that, and it's actually been one of the best songs on the album.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to beat the intro track. Still got it. I think the energy on that is unmatched. But I would say "Live Your Life" is probably one of my favorites because it ties into the theme of it always working out. So I think that really does help. But I literally have had that song for 4 years, and I never put it out. But I think it was trusting my gut and not listening to that outside noise. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah,
honestly.
well, good
Yeah.
thing it's out.
Exactly. No, thank God. I'm very excited it's out. Yeah.
What was the headspace on a song like that? I mean, that's a 4-year-old song for
Yeah.
a project that's thematically about always working out.
Yeah.
What was the headspace, if you can even recall from?
No, I could. I remember the studio I was at. I was at a studio in Tempe. The studio is no longer available now, unfortunately. It's one of those types of studios. But I remember recording it, not knowing what to think of it, because I was planning to actually put that on an album called "It's Not Me, It's You."
Okay.
So that was like a long time ago. So that's like how long ago of a track that is. So I think that's what I was recording it for. but it just didn't make the cut. And I think, like I said, I think there was just a lot of external factors that played into it as well. I was also trying to get some stuff cleared, and then luckily we were able to finally get it cleared because it literally was 2 weeks before the submission came out.
Really?
Like, I literally was like, oh wait, like this song, it's called Live Your Life. It's called like Go and Live Like This. Like, you gotta live your life at the end of the day. And I think that was like, well, the title's called Always Works Out. Like, this is what this album's about. So this is perfect for it. So I thought for me, that was just the best way of going about it. So then I added some more backgrounds, maybe updated my vocals a little bit, made myself sound a little bit better because I was sounding a little more high pitched back then in 4 years. Not that I hit puberty in that moment, but I'm just saying, like, it took some time. But that probably is one of my favorites. I think just to think about the headspace that I was when I wrote it to now is like, I just lived my life and I just didn't give an F about it. So it's perfect. Yeah.
What was the driving factor to put this on part 2 instead of part 1?
Honestly, me looking back on my archives and realizing that my MP3s, I'm like, I see this track, I'm like, why have I not released this? So I was like, no, because I thought I released it, and I was like, no, I didn't. I hadn't released it. So that was kind of the difference. And then I think part 2 definitely got a little more nurturing and love just because I think once the film came out, I think there was a lot more that was coming out of it. It wasn't so many new tracks, but I really spent it's not that I spent more time on part 2. I just think during the film where I'm holding off on it and I'm trying to release it around the film, I got a little more love. But I think the positive thing is once I release the full complete thing, you might hear some new tweaks in some of the older songs in part 1. So I think once that complete edition, I'm excited to kind of turn the chapter and work on some new music and some new projects as well. So yeah.
With Live Your Life off the second part being your favorite track, what would you say is your favorite track off of the complete?
Love Lost is probably, I just think that song is so different. I think it gives me chills every single time. It's the great song to walk out to hype up a crowd or whatnot. And shout out to Shaggy on that one. He's one of the most dynamic producers I've gotten to work with from the Coachella Valley. He's just a great guy overall. And it was one of the first times I worked with him was on that song. It was the first actual track. And I literally it took us 10 minutes to make it. Like, really? I'm talking from the beat to me record, like, it was maybe 10, 15 minutes, if that, and then we were, like, on to the next one. So I love that song still to this day. I think it was very heavily used, especially in the executive scene of the film, of when I was trying to impress the executive to get me a record contract, and that was the song that I was rapping was Love Lost. So I think that is just such a goosebump type of song. It really is, so yeah.
Are you excited to perform these?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, some of them have already been performed, but I'm excited for that. No question about it. Like I said, I've been holding on this for way too long, and I think it's just all of that energy and all of the excitement. I think it's get it on a stage, because the one thing I love is performing, and I think that is one thing that makes me stand out. It really does. I think my shows are incredibly different, and I'm not just trying to stand on a mic with the actual song playing on with the lyrics. I'd rather do the instrumental and you hear me, and if you don't like it, the exit's on the other side if needed. So that's all I gotta say. Yeah.
Awesome. I will say, when you put this project out and you're talking about putting the complete version out as well, once the complete version is out, what's next in a way? Do you put these projects out and you go, okay, I could take a break now, I could take a month break?
There's never a break at the end of the day, but I get what that is. I think, I think it's just now a new chapter for new music. I think for me right now with music, I'm always trying to do different things. So I don't think I found out what the next project or what the next thing is. It's because I think right now with me, like I've released 5 albums in 5 years, 6 years.
Since 2019, yeah.
Since 2019, I've released a lot of music. And I think the music's always gonna be there. So I think it's about doing stuff like a film where, I had to think of something different in order to promote my music. Now it's like, okay, what can we do next? What is the next thing that we can be able to accomplish? So I think that has been the fun task. But I think over time with the film coming out and everything, I'm learning of what's next. So no clue yet. Absolutely not yet. And I normally have a plan, but I just think I'm riding the high of this right now, and I think once that wears off and I'm bored, I think I want to do something next. So we'll see what happens. So I'm always open to suggestions, always open to collaboration. I always preach in every interview that I do. I'm not afraid to work with people. I'm always just a hard worker and just want to bring the best out of people. And if you're able to bring that, we can make something work.
Hell yeah. Not because you were saying how you don't know what's next, but does that thought of what's next or what's to come after this, does it scare you in a way? Or does it make you more motivated to create? More
motivated, I would say. I wouldn't say the word scared.
Yeah, not scared.
Because I enjoy this at the end of the day. Like, I love this. Like, if you don't love what you do at the end of the day, then that's kind of a little bit of an issue at the end of the day. But I would say for me, I'm just searching in a sense, but I'm just so riding off the high of the film right now. It's
Hmm.
like I want to go and do what's next, but like we worked on this for 9 months. Like
Yeah.
really was the longest I've put into a project, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily of a break. It's like okay, how do we continue to promote this? Just because I think the one thing, especially with music, that you see is people promote an album for a week and then they pray to God that people are still going to listen to it when
Yeah.
they're not. So I think that's the one thing that I'm at where I want to continue to promote this for as long as I possibly can, and this is like something that I'm going to have probably for the rest of my life. So it's like, let's make the most of it. So right now, I think that's more of the focus. And I think once I move around, travel a little more and get my inspiration, it comes in weird ways. It really does.
I was gonna say, how do you get your material? How do you get your inspirations?
It's so funny. I jokingly used to say it was dreams.
Okay.
I used to say it was dreams,
Yeah.
but I just think it's working with the right people.
Mhm.
I think it's working with the people that are as motivated as you are, because I think where I'm at, I think the way that I am is go, go, go. And I think it's very easy to filter out artists or people that are wanting to work, that actually want to work, that are in it, whether they're in it for the actual love and the creativity, or they're in it for the attention and the girls and all the fame and what they think they're going to get. So I think for me, I'm always just inspired by other people. I think other music. I just think it's a lot of quantity right now. So I think that makes it a lot easier on my end, but also
Yeah.
makes it harder. So I think it comes in many different ways. My inspiration for sure. The people I'm around, the people I'm with. Yeah, I think definitely that.
Do you find it to be a competitive field?
100%. Oh yeah. Listen, I think the one thing I've even said before for like jobs and all that, like they're asking like what's your motivation, what's your hustle? I say it's for music for sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask. So, you were talking about how building yourself up as an artist, and so you have to put out it's that you want to put out a full film, obviously.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like you were saying, people just, it's not that they don't care. It's just like they have no reason to watch it yet. And so then when you put out their short film, you give these people this reason to watch. What is that struggle of being like, I want to do this thing that I really want to do, but you have that reality check of being like, okay, well, maybe it's not going to be as appreciated as it could be. And I could put this thing out that necessarily you don't want to be doing, or this and that, but that we'll get the appreciation garnered to you for this future thing.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I've done a lot of interviews. That's probably one of the best questions I've
you.
ever heard. I swear to God, that's one of the best questions I've ever heard. I think it's just challenging within social media now. I think when you think about how quick attention spans, and I've been preaching on this for so long now, where it's like it's hard to be able to put out. That's why I think for the film, we could have easily made this thing 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like we could have easily made this super long, but I feel like every project I've put out, I feel like I'm continuing to tick back the minutes. I feel like I'm always doing that. And do I love that? No.
Yeah.
But I know that and that's the thing I'll give to people is that the part 2 is 8 songs, 20 minutes. It's as long as your favorite show on a streaming service. Like it literally is you sitting down and watching a show for 20 minutes. That's how long it is to listen to my part 2 project.
I mean, you're a rapper and you're a great rapper, and that's probably the thing you love doing in the field of music. But
yeah,
besides that, what is your favorite part about the creating of a song?
Favorite part of creating a song. My favorite part of creating a song is coming up with a message, and then when you put it out there, someone thinks it's something completely different. I think that's the funniest thing, because I think that's so great about music. Music is so up for interpretation.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that ability to do that. Not that I normally come up with a message during my songs, but it's somewhat a little implied. It depends on the day and night at least. But I would say that to me, it's because I think music is art and it's so up for interpretation. And I've put out songs and people have thought it is something completely different,
Okay.
and I find that to be pretty funny in that regard.
So with those messages, do you get kind of irritated with that, or do you?
No, absolutely not. No, I don't. I think it's funny. Like I think it's hilarious because then they'll say it and then they think and I'm not against it. Like I'll make them think that they're the smartest person. Not that I don't already think that, but I'm like, yeah, I know. Like that was what I was thinking the whole time. But I think it's more of an appreciation of them taking a listen to it and actually coming up with something rather than just listening to it for 20 seconds and then getting tired of it.
Yeah, I see.
I like that a lot more at the end of the day. I like it's not saying you gotta listen to the full song. Obviously, I want you to listen.
You
to
like
the
the
full song.
discussion of it.
I love the discussion of it. I love the discussion of it.
Hell yeah. What's been your favorite song to discuss off this?
Favorite song?
Like, what's like the song you go to? It's
Yeah.
like you have a favorite song off the album,
Yeah.
but then what is like the song that you like? Oh, I want someone to talk to me about this song because of what I said in this or the subject material for the.
Oh, um, I would probably say from parts. I'd say "Carry On" would probably be one of those songs. I'd
Mhm.
say "Carry On" just because there's so many different. There's a lot of Easter eggs in that song. There's a
Gotcha.
lot of different background vocals that I took. I didn't just take it from one. I took it from four different artists.
Mhm.
I had four different artists try to be on that song, and two ended up being, I'd say, one and a half.
Mhm.
But it actually was just pieced up parts of their verse that I just had in the background, like whether it was just panning it from the left and right. Like I actually had like four different artists that were on that attempted to come up with something, not saying it wasn't great, but then when I started splicing it up together, I thought that was super cool. So from the technical side, I would say that song.
Mhm.
From a message side, I would probably say I'll probably say "Still Got It" doesn't get talked about.
Mhm.
That intro track is something else.
Yeah.
Like and the cooler part about it is that the intro you hear a stove. That's actually me recording my stove.
Really?
My stove top. It literally
Yeah.
like that beginning part of it is actually me recording my. I mean, I'm glad I didn't burn down my house because you know you put it in light and then
Yeah.
you gotta turn it to make sure. That's what I was doing. So I did that like multiple times. So I didn't get any like the carbon, whatever
The fumes?
the fumes of it per se, but. I think that because I think that is just such a different song, but it also like is a song where it shows everything that I've done.
Mhm.
Like talking about like swimming laps on them, like I'm going for the gold, like stuff like that. Like going from not making money on a show to a couple hundred for a show. Like that's what I think could be talked about because it shows more of a growth. And I think for an intro track, like you first hear it and you hear that stove, then you hear the beat, it's over.
Is that your favorite thing to discuss when you're making a song? Is the come up you've had?
Yeah, I think every song is different, but I do appreciate I do like talking about that just from the things that I've had to overcome.
Mhm.
And I'm still overcoming them. Like I'm not satisfied. I'm never satisfied.
Yeah. It's exactly what you were
as
saying.
a Southern California,
You have to want it.
job is never finished.
Yeah.
Job is never finished. That's it in life. And I think for me, the come up for me is especially with this project is seeing where it's all come to. Like there's been so much changed
Mhm.
from when I came back from Paris to now. There's been so much change. I've learned a lot about myself. I've been with some great people. I've also currently with some great people, and I think
That's
I've
right.
never. It took some time for some of those relationships to form, and I'm forever grateful for that. So I think there's been so much change within that, and I'm just incredibly grateful for the process. So I like to talk about
Yeah.
the come up and whatnot, and I like to just give that as a blueprint that Rome wasn't built in a day. Like it takes time. It's taken me 5 years, 4 years to do this, and I never would have thought 4 years ago that I'd be sitting down doing this. And I thank the great state of Arizona for that.
Yeah.
I really do. Love Palm Springs, love my hometown, but out here it's different, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter. I'm always looking forward to that. Yeah.
Do you like incorporating the local references in your songs?
Love it. Yeah.
There's a line you have where you go from OT to mill. And it's so funny because like being as an Arizonan, it's like I hear
Yeah.
that I'm like, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah. No. That out and about. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. That.
When you work with these high level producers and these mixers and engineers, do you feel that sense of like, oh wait, I am at this level that the people they're working with, or do you?
Oh no,
see
I'm the
it
guy
as-
with like the composition notebook, like taking notes, learning from them.
Okay.
Like I think I'm not so much of bringing like the ego into it and being like, damn, like I'm this and that, like I know that. No, I'm literally like,
What
okay,
can I
wait, you
learn?
made this change in this mix. What could I do to do that? Or not taking it from them completely, but watching the way that they work. Because there's a lot of people that are better than me. I'm aware of that, but also like, but the way that, but I like someone that is like that because the way that I am in the studio, it is like, hey, like we can save the. I have had to tell some certain engineers because they'll try to talk in between takes and be like, oh, like this is going on right now. I'm like, hey, like I'm locked in for 2.5 hours. Like I'm not on my phone. I have my full undivided attention. I want to mix this up and get as much as I can done. Not in a bad way, but the way that I make music, I'm like, I know I can get it done very fast. So
Yeah.
I think it's more about seeing the way that they operate and maybe learning a lot more about maybe like doubling vocals or adding certain filters. Like I thought that was really cool, especially a guy like John, where he's been doing it for some time and he's had over 100K plays on certain songs and seeing the way that he does it. And especially just for any engineer, I've met a lot of incredibly talented people, and it goes back to showing to not being afraid to put yourself out there because you'd be amazed about a producer out in Sweden that you'd have no idea about. That guy can literally make an 808 beat in 2 minutes. Like, it's insane.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You'd be amazed about the community of music that you're able to learn by just putting yourself out there and just shooting your shot. The worst thing that someone can say is no, and that's always been my mentality at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, to close us out here.
Yeah.
With this project, with part 2 out and the film as well, I had asked you earlier what's next, but with this, where do you see yourself going from here? With the inspirations you're having, because you say how you were in the Paris Olympics, covering that, and that gave you a lot of inspiration here. Not necessarily what's next project-wise, but what do you see as your next big inspiration for future projects?
I think that is to be determined yet. I think, there's a lot of other stuff going on, and I think, I'm just trying to get the film out more than anything, but I think the inspiration of it, I think it's just continuing to do what I've been doing as far as just trusting myself, and I think maybe for this next project, it might be just a lot more of me. So if you hate me, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you at this point, but I would say in general, just sticking more to my ideas, because it even goes back to some of the songs that are on the project. Like, I really didn't think I would be re-releasing something like a song like Live Your Life that's been in the archives for 4 years. That in the time where I was thinking it was a good song and other people that I was sharing it with didn't think so. And then now I'm thinking about it, I was like, this is probably one of the best songs I've ever put out. So I think it's just trusting my ideas and going there. So I think that's to be determined, but one thing I always will tell you, it always works out.
It always works out. Well, thank you, Bannon. Thank you, Yungbc. Everyone, make sure to go check out Always Works Out Part 2, as well as its film.
Yes.
And we have the complete version coming out.
It'll be out probably by the time this comes out, so I'm very excited about that. So, we got Part 1, Part 2, might even have some extra,
that would be awesome.
some small little things from the film, actually. So I'm excited about that might be incorporated in the album as well, as the music in itself was already incorporated in the short film. But might see some surprises along the way, maybe some bonus tracks. But I'm incredibly grateful for this community and you guys. You guys are awesome. I love the way that you guys put out stuff. Not to mention that you're a Dodgers fan, which makes it even 20 times better. Matt, you already know where I'm coming at you with this on that one. But I'm very grateful. I think, no matter what, I'm more excited, I think, going back to the inspiration. I'm excited to grow more outside of Arizona, and I think you'll be seeing a lot more of that. I'll be traveling a lot more. I'm going to be traveling a lot more now. I'm moving to Dallas, Texas next month, so I'm very excited about that, and just excited for that new start. Not saying I will not be back in Arizona, but I am moving to Dallas, Texas. I'm excited about that. I get to go travel the world. Literally, I manifested that a year ago to go travel the world and go shoot social media, which is funny because it's for pickleball. Okay. Which is even funnier. But I think the positive thing of that is that being able, I'm going to be traveling like every week into a different state and a different place. And that's just another opportunity for me to promote my music. So that's what I'm excited about. Not that that's what I'm in it for. I think it's the social media side. And I'm forever grateful for all the people that made that happen, because that was such a tough way to be able to do that. So incredibly excited for what the future holds.
Awesome. Well, thank everyone for watching. This was Yungbc. This is the interview for Always Works Out Part 2. Again, make sure to go check that out, and the complete version that's coming out once this is out as well. And thank you.
Thank you, guys. Much love as always.